Any county, and you'll find good-hearted, hard-working folks. People whose businesses are proudly helped as lieutenant governor. Hard work needs to be respected again, with fair wages and opportunities to get ahead. That's how my parents opened doors for me. My mom was a teacher and my dad worked third shift. I'm not one of these millionaires. I work just as hard for you as you work for your family. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
It's Slumberland's anniversary sale, and to celebrate, we're stacking the deals. Buy any sofa or sectional and get 20% off your second purchase. Now for the stacking, get another 20% off both items.
20 plus another 20?
Yep, and there's more. Buy any recliner or accent chair and get 20% off your second purchase. And stack an additional 20% off both items.
Discounts? On top of discounts?
Plus, we are still offering great special financing at Slumberland Furniture.
Straight ahead, a local infectious disease expert weighs in on monkeypox. We'll hear what he recommends to stop the spread. Plus, a shooter targeted 2 Wisconsinites at Six Flags. We'll learn more about the investigation and a surge in young entrepreneurs in downtown Rhinelander. We'll have the details as your local news starts right now.
Your local news and weather from where you live. News Watch 12 at 5 starts now.
Good evening and welcome to News Watch 12 at 5. I'm Dan Hagan. Monkeypox cases are rising every day nationally, so it's important to try to keep yourself safe as well as others. News Watch 12's Mohammed Abdul Kawi has the story.
Monkeypox is a virus similar to smallpox. It's an orthopox virus within that family.
Fevers, chills, and exhaustion are some of the symptoms of monkeypox. However, Tristan O'Driscoll, an infectious disease pharmacist, says the main symptom to look for is a rash. Monkeypox can spread to anyone through skin-to-skin contact, as well as touching fabrics such as towels or clothes.
There also is risk with large respiratory droplets. So that come from sneezes or coughs, for example, kissing. And you also can potentially get exposure through contact with items that have touched those lesions.
If you're exposed to monkeypox, Tristan advises people to reach out to a healthcare provider. The illness typically lasts 2 to 4 weeks. Washing your hands often, as well as avoiding large groups, are some ways to prevent attracting monkeypox.
Having good hand hygiene can be helpful. One of the things that's been put out there is maybe to avoid close, intimate contact in large group settings, like maybe concerts. Could be a good idea to consider that as well.
According to the CDC, there are currently 31 cases in the state of Wisconsin, which is low, but those cases can increase at any moment.
It's encouraging that we are not like other states, like New York. But we have those risks out there, just like any other state. So right now it's low. That number is growing, though, right? And there's 40 presumed cases they're testing, so it's bound to get larger.
Monkeypox isn't as severe as COVID. However, Tristan believes people should pay close attention to this disease.
So if we're just aware and avoiding that with people who have rashes or lesions, that's going to go a long way. There's no need to panic, but definitely need to respect these infectious diseases.
Reporting in Wausau, Mohammed Abdul Kawi, News Watch 12.
Chief Meteorologist Jeff Weller joins us now. Jeff, maybe a tad cool for August, but I'm enjoying it, actually.
Yeah, kind of a cruddy weekend, but we brought back some sunshine today with temperatures back up in the 70s, and there's some sunshine getting through right now with temperatures near 73 here in Rhinelander, 75 for Leona, 76 for Point. It's comfortable out there, the average high being 78. Most of us are not doing that today, but we'll get closer to that tomorrow. Okay, some clouds out there now, and even a couple showers across parts of the area, mainly right along the UP border. These will likely stay close to the border tonight. They're not moving very quickly at all, but overall, any of us, we're in an environment now that could give us a quick shower tonight into early parts of tomorrow morning. And then our attention turns toward the west. This, I know your eye goes right there. That's all going to miss us, but this is the front in there that's going to increase the clouds tomorrow, and by Wednesday, bring us some rain showers throughout the afternoon. Our forecast then tonight, though, is partly cloudy skies. A rogue shower or a thunder shower cannot be ruled out. Most of us will stay dry with low temperatures down near 52. Your full forecast coming up. Again.
2 Wisconsinites were injured in a shooting at Six Flags last night. Authorities say shortly before 8 p.m. local time, shots rang out in the parking lot of the theme park just north of Chicago. Officers say the shots were fired from a single car, and that car was immediately driven away, adding that it was a targeted shooting and not a random act. 3 people were injured in the shooting. A 17-year-old male and a 19-year-old female from Appleton were both transported to the hospital. A third victim sustained a shoulder injury and declined transportation to a hospital. It's been 1 year since the Taliban took over Afghanistan. You can see Taliban fighters celebrating on the streets of Kabul. They were driving throughout the city today, waving the white flag of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan and carrying weapons. August 15th is now a public holiday there. Since the U.S. withdrawal, Afghanistan's economy has collapsed and women have lost many rights. It's a bit of a hike for most of us, but the UP State Fair kicked off today in Escanaba. Since 1928, the Upper Peninsula State Fair has provided a place for folks from across the nation to experience and celebrate the unique culture and heritage of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. The annual event is a celebration of agriculture and community. There's also live music and car racing. The fair runs through next weekend. A wildfire on Isle Royale has closed a number of trails and campgrounds. Isle Royale is a Michigan island in Lake Superior. The fire started on Saturday and quickly grew to about 10 acres in size. Additional fire resources arrived at the park yesterday. The cause of the fire is under investigation, and about a dozen camping sites and trails have been closed on the island due to the fire. The Marathon County Sheriff's Office is reminding motorists to expect delays and backups on US 51 southbound north of State Highway 29 this week due to road construction. Deputies have reported traffic backing up to County Road Double W at times. Motorists are urged to drive with caution in this area due to several hills and curves, which can limit your visibility of traffic that has stopped or slowed down significantly. In northern Wisconsin, some business owners are nearing retirement age, but others, at least in downtown Rhinelander, are just getting started. Newswatch 12's Michael Lodholtz has more on a few millennial entrepreneurs in the area. Michael?
Dan, while some businesses were closing their doors during the pandemic, the last couple years saw a rise in young entrepreneurs in downtown Rhinelander. Jesse Steinmetz followed his passion for coffee and decided to take the leap and opened his very own coffee bar in downtown Rhinelander. He decided to open right during the pandemic in February of 2021. Since then, he has enjoyed hosting community events like the Young Professionals of the Northwoods and seeing happy coffee lovers every day.
There wasn't a lot of businesses going up, so I just figured I'd take the chance and go after my dreams.
He said that it is a lot of work, but worth the long hours. Another young business owner who seized the moment was Emily Babcock. She had years of experience in the hairstylist industry and couldn't let the opportunity to add to the downtown community go by.
I always wanted to have a little spot of my own, but I never pictured it within the next few years, and when the opportunity arose, I just had to take it.
Rev and Babs are just two examples of young businesses opening up in the Northwoods. They are excited to add their fresh perspectives to the business community and make their hometown a better place.
An estimated 476,000 Americans are diagnosed and treated for Lyme disease each year. The CDC says it's becoming common in more areas in the U.S. Now, the only vaccine in development to prevent it is headed to phase 3 trials. Maddie Gaither has more on the vaccine and, if it's found safe and effective, the timeline for when it could be available.
It's the only vaccine in development that could protect against Lyme disease. Pfizer says it will begin a large clinical trial together with a French vaccine company testing whether its vaccine is safe and effective.
Well, the best part about Lyme disease is it's preventable.
Health experts say wearing repellent with at least 20% DEET concentration, along with long sleeves and pants, can also stop ticks from being able to latch on and transmit the bacteria that causes the disease. But right now, there's no vaccine to prevent it. Around 6,000 people ages 5 and older will be recruited for the trial. Those who take part will be given 3 doses of the vaccine or a placebo, followed by a booster dose. The vaccine targets the bacteria that causes the disease, and the company says it's shown a safe and strong immune response in previous trials. Lyme disease is spread through a tick bite.
Initially, it's a little red spot where the bite took place, but then the redness expands
Antibiotics can knock out the infection early on, but if left untreated, the infection can spread to the joints, heart, and nervous system.
If there's been a tick and we are uncertain of the length of time this tick has been on our body, in other words, it could be longer than 1 to 2 days, we should seek medical attention.
If the vaccine is found to be safe and effective, Pfizer says it could submit requests for approval in the U.S. and Europe in 2025. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
It's been an unusually cool August so far, but will that continue this week? Chief Meteorologist Jeff Weller will be in with your full forecast.
This portion of News Watch 12 is brought to you by Slumberland.
The traffic is horrible.
Great. Time for another one of these.
Bite into the new Primal Burrito or Biscuit with Prime Rib at Hardee's. See Jurassic World Dominion in theaters June 10th.
You don't want to miss the Central Wisconsin Military Show August 19th and 20th at the Motorama Auto Museum. Visit motoramaautomuseum.org for more information.
Felco Factory Direct. What does that mean? It means no middleman, no overpriced, underperforming windows. Factory Direct means getting what you want, when you want, without breaking the bank. It means when you buy one window, you'll get one free. Yes, free. It means quality craftsmanship, custom designs, and a lifetime warranty. Most importantly, it means a team of window professionals dedicated to one thing above all, your delight. Buy one window, get one free. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Felco.
Everything here is American made, but it's tough competing with China. Ron Johnson's making it tougher. Johnson pushed for special tax breaks for outsourcing corporations,
but voted against tariffs and sanctions on China's unfair trade practices.
And when Johnson's big corporate PAC donor announced plans to create jobs outside Wisconsin, he defended them.
It's not like we don't have enough jobs here in Wisconsin. The biggest problem.
Senator Johnson, stop making it tougher on us.
Visit Lac de Flambeau, experience culture, shopping, treats, and relaxation. Look over the native arts, beadwork, fabrics, native food catering, delicious ice cream and coffee blends, or treat yourself to a manicure. While you are in town, visit the four-season exhibit at the Ojibwe Museum and Culture Center. Experience the outdoors at the Lac de Flambeau campground with access to the beautiful Lac de Flambeau chain of lakes. Contact the Lac de Flambeau Chamber of Commerce and enjoy the hospitality. Come and refresh your spirit.
I know that I can handle schooling my children because the RVA provides the tools that I need. The RVA has adjusted curriculum by placing children right where their learning is. That's the #1 goal, is to make sure that your children are learning, and so you don't move on if they haven't grasped the concept. You stop, pause, and you make sure that you grasp that before you move on. The RVA will work with your child's needs and will provide the support and the attention that your child not only needs but deserves.
Next to Market Watch, numbers. Boring. In more delicious news, there's a buy one famous star, get one for $1 deal at Hardee's.
Bite into the famous star today, only at Hardee's.
All right, let's start here. The temperature results are in from July, and July came back as the 6th warmest July on record globally. That's land and ocean temperatures. So on this map, red's above average and blue is below. Lots of red during the month of July. Out there for us today, though, lots of fog early, followed by that with sunshine for a while today. And there's still a little bit of sunshine out there right now with some clouds across the region as well. And those clouds could give us a rogue thunder shower tonight. Right now, though, it's 73 in Rhinelander, a calm wind at the airport, a dew point at 54, a gorgeous evening there. Over in Wausau, 79 for you, with an east breeze around 6 and a dew point there of 58, pressure steady at 30.11. Okay, so around the horn, temperatures are hanging out in the low to mid 70s. There's a couple upper 70s across central Wisconsin now, but overall, the average high being 78. Most of us are not doing that today. But going forward, we could do 76 tomorrow and maybe 78 for Wednesday, followed by a little bit cold front coming through late Wednesday evening. That'll cool us off just a bit for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Overall, though, the average high being 78 will likely be at or below that the next 7 to 8 days around here. If you are sniffling and sneezing, the mold spores are off the charts again. So is the grass pollen. So we can either all stop mowing our grass or just kind of deal with it with grass pollen and mold pollen very high right now. Okay, so here's a drought monitor. Again, decades of drought across the West and parts of Texas and California. Lots of problems there, as we know. But around here, it's been a little dry, right? We're going to work on that, though, as there's a slow-moving system moving our direction for probably late Wednesday, Thursday into Friday, probably ending on Saturday morning. That will bring us several rounds of rain. Out there right now, lots of cloud cover across parts of the region. There's a couple showers here across parts of Vilas County, western Vilas County. They're not moving very quickly at all. So if you get under one of these, you could get a quick burst of rainfall tonight. That will miss us. Don't bother with that one. But off to the west of us, there's a lot going on instability-wise here. It should leave us alone until later on Wednesday. But once it gets here, we have several rounds of rain in the forecast for us for Thursday and Friday. And the monsoon moisture across the desert southwest is going like crazy this year with lots of flooding there. That moisture will keep going, causing them all sorts of problems, but much needed rainfall. Our forecast then tonight, though, is partly cloudy skies. There's a slight chance for a thunderstorm. Most of us will stay dry with some dense fog late and low temperatures down near 52. For tomorrow, all right, so some morning fog followed by lots of afternoon sunshine. Again, the average high being about 78. We'll likely not to do that tomorrow, but who cares? 76 is good with a west breeze around 10 throughout the afternoon. And then looking ahead, your 7-day forecast by Northwest Furniture and Mattress shows tomorrow, very nice day, right? Wednesday, same story, although more signs now leaning toward clouds Wednesday evening with probably a few thunder showers late in the day. Thursday looks like we're going to get wet. Thursday into Friday as well. Look at temperatures well below average. Rain cool, cloud cool there Thursday into Friday. Here's the weekend. Now, Saturday looks a little bit wet to me Saturday morning, followed by drying out on Sunday. And looks like much better weather getting in here later on next week. Dan?
Thanks, Jeff. A 55-year-old man was found dead in Juneau County Sunday. The Juneau County Communications Center received a report of a body in the water around noon. The body was observed near a boat landing on County Highway N. A search of the water found the body among the trees in the water. The man was identified as Glenn Erickson of New Lisbon. The incident remains under investigation. A new study finds more than 100 million Americans will be living in hotter areas by mid-century. The study was published Monday by the climate research nonprofit group First Street Foundation. It found worsening extreme heat and humidity from climate change will bring extremely dangerous heat indices to much of the U.S. in the next 20 years. And the intensity and frequency of the hottest days of the year will increase as well. The study found the heat will increase in some areas more than others. That includes in a so-called extreme heat belt stretching from Texas to the Great Lakes. First Street found more than 100 million Americans in this region will experience temperatures above 125 degrees during their hottest stretches of the year. Pennsylvania State Police identified and charged a man who drove through a crowd Saturday, killing one person and injuring 17. 24-year-old Adrian Reyes of Nescopec was arraigned on 2 open counts of criminal homicide after he drove through a crowd gathered for a fundraising event on Saturday, killing one and injuring 17, like I said. Officials said Reyes then fatally attacked a woman in Nescopec, where he was taken into custody. Police are investigating whether the suspect intentionally drove into the crowd. The search is over for a man who police say broke into a Minneapolis home and killed a man. Authorities found the suspect in Wisconsin. Police say the couple knew the man who did it and had an order of protection against him. Reg Chapman reports.
This man, who didn't want us to use his name, was visiting a friend.
I woke up to some noise. It just sounded like some pounding, really loud pounding.
He took this video as an intruder was breaking into the side door of the home next door.
I was sleeping in the guest bedroom upstairs, and I looked right down, and there's a dude with a battering ram. He's just pounding on the door with the battering ram, and he got through. I recorded at the last second and seen him go right through the door. And
Minneapolis police say a woman made a frantic 911 call from inside the house for help.
That a husband and wife were sleeping in their residence when a known individual started to break in their side door. The female, who has an OA, order of protection against the individual trying to break into the house, was able to escape the house to safety.
She got out, but the man inside did not. When police got there, they found a crime scene.
Officers arrived and identified a male inside the house who had been fatally stabbed.
What police didn't realize is the man allegedly responsible for murder passed them on their way to help.
That male subject was leaving the scene as officers were arriving.
31-year-old Franklin White was arrested late Friday afternoon in Wisconsin by the Wisconsin State Patrol. He has not been officially charged with the crime.
The relationship that Franklin has with the female, that we're working to determine exactly what that was. She did have an order for protection against him.
Reg Chapman, WCCO 4 News.
A groom arrived at his wedding in an unusual style. Coming up on Newswatch 12, the challenges one man faced while heading to his island wedding venue. We'll be right back.
In his Wisconsin, teens can buy AR-15s, but laws that stop domestic abusers from getting guns won't happen here. Our taxes could go up $500 million, and we help fund Milwaukee private schools while our public schools go broke. And fake election investigations?
Was the election rigged? Was the election stolen?
They go on forever. That's Tim Michael's radical divisive agenda, but we don't have to take it, because it's not his Wisconsin, it's yours.
Saturday, August 27th, Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg presents Journey former lead vocalist Steve Augeri.
Those crazy nights, I do remember.
Live under the stars, Steve Augeri. Doors open at 6, show starts at 8. Don't miss Steve Augeri. Exclusively at Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg. Must be 21 or over to attend.
High Point Sand and Gravel provides high-quality riprap, sand, and screened topsoil for almost any need. The high-quality rock and stone, boulders, and clear stone enhance the function and beauty of your home or business. Offering convenient delivery or pickup throughout northern Wisconsin and the UP, High Point Sand and Gravel provides premium landscaping materials, specializing in producing beautiful decorative stone for all types of landscaping projects. Contact High Point Sand and Gravel to help make your next project a dream come true.
The kitchen remodel project was a major project. After checking around, we went to Featherstone, and we were so glad we did. There was electrical work, plumbing, enlarging a doorway, and of course all the cabinets, countertops, and fixtures. The minute I walked in the door at Featherstone, I knew I was in the right place. Featherstone coordinated every aspect of the project, the whole thing. They made it easy. And I can't say enough about how much we appreciated the personal attention Featherstone gave us.
I'm Tim Michaels. I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman who helped build a great Wisconsin company and created thousands of jobs. Tony Evers, Joe Biden, they're two peas in a pod. Both career politicians in way over their head, failing the country and the state of Wisconsin. That's why I'm running. We need to have strong, proven executive leadership in Madison that can get things done and make this state as great as it can.
A Boston groom was stranded on his wedding day with his groomsmen while the bride was left waiting. But as Danae Bucci shows us, it was the Boston Police Harbor Patrol who answered the groom's distress call and saved the day.
I was in a little bit of a panic.
Patrick and Hannah Mahoney's big day almost never happened after mechanical issues put the harbor between the bride and groom.
Never thought that the boat broke down and he was on.
The Quincy couple had their wedding on Thompson Island. The boat the groom was supposed to take broke down, leaving him and some precious cargo stranded at the dock.
It was our florist, our DJ, all of the groomsmen, the groom. So I think it would have just been a bunch of girls sitting on the island waiting around if that had not happened.
That's when the Boston Police Department's Harbor Patrol unit stepped in for this groom in distress call. The replacement boat ended up leaving 40 minutes late from the harbor, but the officer was able to make up time on the water.
We had 6 minutes to spare.
Officer Joseph Matthews, along with his partner, were able to get everyone to the island safely. He hopes the police escort will be a fun memory to look back on.
Yeah, Lou, give them something to remember. Getting around on a police boat's kind of special for their big night.
And despite the rocky start to the day, Patrick says nothing would have stopped him from tying the knot with his bride.
We would have waited for low tide at 6 p.m. and probably walked.
Tired of Washington politicians not working for you?
We've got a solution. With 3 easy payments of $1 million, Ron Johnson will work for you. Just ask these billionaires. They donated a fortune to Johnson, and he delivered a $215 million tax break for them. That's right, $215 million. Johnson even threw in a tax break for himself. Don't miss this opportunity. Call now. DSCC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Brighten your home inside and out with 11% off at Menards. Get peace of mind with Heat Zenith Outdoor Lights, featuring a 30-foot detection range and 100% brightness when motion activated. These lights add security to your home. Now they're 11% off. Shed some light on the subject with True Wave LED bulbs. Sylvania True Wave bulbs mimic natural sunlight and deliver superior dimming control, all while saving energy. Get 11% off everything right now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Culligan Water delivers. From your first call, to your first sip, to your first soak. Culligan, give us a tap. The only water that comes with a van.
Ever dream of a charming toy store with unique toys, games, and puzzles? A store that encourages unplugged and active play, discovery, and imagination. It's real, it's Imaginuity. Visit our beautiful new store in Minocqua soon.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basementy company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basementy in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
I love this state. Knock on any door in any county, and you'll find good-hearted, hard-working folks. People whose businesses are proudly helped as Lieutenant Governor. Hard work needs to be respected again, with fair wages and opportunities to get ahead. That's how my parents opened doors for me. My mom was a teacher, and my dad worked third shift. I'm not one of these millionaires. I work just as hard for you as you work for your family. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
This portion of News Watch 12 is brought to you by Slumberland.
All right, Dan, it's time for more summer fun in the water. Elizabeth Brazel had this picture here taken from Wausau, and what a cute picture it is. And see the little kid there in the pool with the beach ball? Very cool. Thank you very much. All right, so not really pool weather out there now, although it's not awful, right? Temperatures hanging out in the 70s. We should be upper 70s. We're not, but we're going to work on that tomorrow, though. High temperatures back up in the mid to upper 70s tomorrow. Now, there are a couple thunder showers out there in Iron, Ashland County, western parts of Vilas County. They're not moving very quickly at all. They're going to kind of stay there, but overall, any of us are fair game for a rogue shower tonight and maybe a thunder shower. Most of us will stay dry, though. The more organized rain showers get in here late Wednesday, more so Thursday and Friday and Saturday. A slow-moving system's on the way, Dan, again. It looks like we're going to get wet, especially late Thursday into Friday.
You know, you'd think mid-August this should be beach season, swimming season, but it's really not at all.
Not this weekend either.
Okay, geez. Yeah. Well, we'll have more from Jeff on News Watch 12 at 6. We'll see you then.